Ooh, buddy, look at that thing.
Look at this.
Oh man, it's a good looking skin, isn't it? Look at that, right there. Ah, this is the new Valkyr heirloom skin. Welcome back, by the way, episode 9 of our Zero to Hero series on YouTube. Yeah, Valkyr heirloom. We've got 2 really cool community members here that are wanting to give away and give back to the community a bit. So we are going to be giving away 2 heirloom collections. So let me show you what that means. We are going to be giving away this pack here. So you'll get these 6 items. You will not be receiving the 425 plat that comes with it because we are buying them with platinum. All you have to do is simply comment on this video. Now, I'm not going to try to buy your likes and subscriptions, so you don't have to like and you don't have to be subscribed. None of that crap. I think that's scummy. But you do have to comment because I got to be able to pick you somehow. So you can either leave your username, like your in-game name, in the comment. If you're not comfortable with that, you can join my Discord. It's in the description where we're having another giveaway. And we can get a hold of you that way. You can DM me directly from that Discord. So yeah, we'll be announcing the winner in next episode of this series. There's also going to be a secondary giveaway in the Discord. We got a couple cool people hanging out there. And yeah, we'd like to invite you to come hang out with us. We're having a giveaway for a second Valkyr heirloom set. So, you know, that's free. All you got to do is join the Discord. You can join the giveaway, and if it's not your thing, feel free to leave. You know, after the giveaway's over. No pressure. One last little thing before we get this video started. I apologize for the delay, but we ended up getting some pretty unexpected gifts this week on the account. So I just wanted to show you some clips, little highlights of that, and then we'll get into it, I promise. So, Lost decided that I needed 20 mutagen masses, which is fantastic. Needed that for a video. A freaking Valkyr heirloom collection for myself, and 21 Forma. That's amazing, dude. Thank you so much. All right, and then we got Imperial, who decided that I needed 1,000 platinum. So, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, that's gonna wrap up the gifts and giveaways. Nope, never mind. Sorry, one more clip. Oh boy, Chompy loves him cysts. Get it, boy. Just a little one, but give you something to chew on, buddy. All right, now we're done. So, here's the deal. Don't send me stuff. I do not want any more gifts. I accepted those gifts because they were in the moment right then and there, and I didn't want to be rude and decline. But don't look at this clip and be like, oh, I'll be in the next episode. All I got to do is send them some stuff. Don't send me stuff, please. It diminishes the run, and people will just say, oh, yeah, I could have got to Mastery Rank 30 as well if I was a YouTuber, and people just gave me thousands of platinum. Yeah, we don't want that. So we don't want the integrity of the run to be just destroyed because I'm receiving gifts and gifts and gifts, right? So let's not send me any gifts. If you do wish to support me, all I'm asking for is you to like the video and, you know, hit me a comment, ask me questions. I love to teach. I read and I reply to every single comment. You can go back on all my videos. Not every single one, but I try my best. But let's get into the video. That's enough yapping from me. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like the video. All right, it's DIRIGA time. So we're gonna hit damage cap and we're gonna do it with 3 mods. I'm not kidding. Assault mode, contagious bond, fired up. That's all you need. And it doesn't even have to be DIRIGA. So, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and swap that. So here's Nautilus Prime. Just a regular Nautilus Prime, not even formed, not even, you know, I didn't even throw a potato on him, right? Just mastery rank fodder for now. But just assault mode so he can actually use his weapon. Contagious bond so he can spread all the side effects, and then fired up so we can get heat on our weapon. Then we're using his weapon that he comes with. Whenever you get Nautilus Prime, you get Verglas Prime. And check this out. Very simple again. Split chamber, vigilante armaments, just regular. You know, there's so much room for improvement. In fact, you can use configure A if you really wanted like a non-budget version. But we're gonna go with budget here, and we're gonna go budget here with just these 3 mods, and let's see if this works out for us. So, as usual, Corrupted Heavy Gunner, level 170, Steelpath. We're gonna come over, we're gonna buff him with Warcry so he attacks faster. We're gonna hit him with our Roar as well, so he does more damage. And as soon as he kills one enemy, it just cascades to do millions and millions of damage. So if there was more enemies, it would just stack up all the way to damage cap pretty quickly. So here's the actual proper setup. I didn't even get to use all my stuff. You saw 136 million. It basically just insta-kills everything. With this setup, you will hit damage cap very, very easily. I guess we can go ahead and show a couple of examples of that. I'm going to be solo on Steelpath. We're going to pop into Void Mott. A good place to test the damage for this, just with really, really high density, is just Steelpath, but specifically Mott, if we get the right starting tile set, that would be sweet. And we did. So these two pipes here, that's the perfect tile set. There's a spot that we could just kind of camp and get super, super good rates. So this should be pretty easy to test. As soon as you hit that console, you can pop down right over here and just hang out right about here. So I'm on Valkyr, not a big issue, but they're already popping. Remember, this is Steelpath. I am not doing anything. I haven't even used Roar. It's doing a couple 100 million over there. 550, yeah, there's damage cap already. Well, there's some damage. Yeah, it was pretty good. This carrier, no forma, not potatoed, only 3 mods on. Let's go see how difficult it is to get to damage cap real quick with this very, very strict, demanding build. So let's go ahead and pop our buffs. We're already hitting for millions and millions of damage. Do you see how it keeps chaining? Every time it chains, it's spreading hundreds of heat procs to the next group of enemies. And that could just chain infinitely. It's already doing damage cap. We literally just did damage cap there already. Took us a couple seconds. 0 setup, immediately is already doing damage cap. So I think you get the point. This carrier prime, 0 forma, 0 any investment really, just 3 mods on, already doing damage cap. So let's get out of here. All right, it's time. Let's break it down. Let's see what makes this stinky little gas puppy tick. So here's the build. This is our flex slot. I guess we can talk about that first. Synth Deconstruct synergizes extremely well with something like Equilibrium. Health pickups give 100% energy. Energy pickups give 100% health. This is super sweet. So more health pickups is more energy sustained. So if you pair that with Synth Deconstruct, enemies injured by the companions have a 25% chance to drop health orb when killed. The dude just has to do a little bit of damage. It doesn't say it has to be the one who kills the enemies. So this is amazing for energy sustain and some survivability. Really, really good. If you don't want to use that, maybe you don't want to put heat on your weapon specifically, so you could just throw Fired Up on here in that slot and do even more heat damage, get more heat procs. It's a good option. Then you got Duplex Bond. This will give even more energy orbs, right? Kills have a 50% chance of dropping energy orbs. It spawns little babies. So if you have an enemy, or if you have a frame that you're using that's really spammy with the energy, every time you expend 100 energy, you create a clone, up to 3 at a time. They live for 30 seconds each. They can't use abilities, unfortunately, because that would be busted. But their kills have a 50% chance of dropping energy orbs. So absolute ludicrous amounts of additional damage because they're just shooting off, 3 extra little clones and a ton of energy orbs on the ground. So you got a lot of flexibility here. Me personally, with the build that I'm running on Valkyr, I tend to throw in Synth Deconstruct, and it's just really nice for me. All right, flex slot talked about. So let's get the easy stuff out of the way. We got Primed Animal Instinct. This just lights up loot and enemies on your radar. Mandatory, basically. Very high quality of life. The game feels weird without it. You can use regular Animal Instinct, be perfectly fine. Vacuum, same thing. You don't want to stand directly on top of your loot. This just makes life so much easier. Pretty much mandatory. Vacuum or fetch. Then we've got something a little bit more interesting, which is primed regen. There's a regular version of regen, not as powerful, but still usable. I would highly recommend it. This does something pretty special. So, not only does it just half your recovery time, so let's say DIRIGA just gets taken out, right? He's dead. Well, he recovers in 28 seconds rather than a full minute. But then, whenever he comes back, he revives with 10 seconds of invulnerability. So he can't just like get insta, killed. They're not gonna spawn camp the stinky puppy. And he's gonna have 10 seconds to just light them all up, apply a million status effects, do damage cap. At the very least, in 9,999 level cap enemies, he's gonna be softening them up with hundreds of stacks of heat procs and toxin and everything you can imagine. All right, we talked about assault mode earlier. The only time your dude will actually shoot his weapon that's equipped is if you have assault mode on. This is required, it's mandatory. If your dude's not shooting and you're like, dude, this build doesn't work, that guy lied to me, it's because you don't have assault mode on. Or it's because you have assault mode on, but it's all the way down here. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but just quickly, the mod order matters. So, you want it to go from top left to bottom right, and in that order, that's what he will prioritize. This is the bread and butter of the damage portion. This simply just, you kill the one enemy, you just dump a ton of stats and status effects on him, and then once he dies, he pops and he spreads it to everyone else in a 9-meter radius, and it's just insane. Perfect. So that leaves us with these two beauties. Let's talk about Momentous Bond first. So killing an Eximus enemy grants 120% bonus of a random elemental damage to your companion for 30 seconds. Insane. It gets worse. It gets, better. It gets way better. And it reduces your companion's recovery by 18 seconds. So we're already down to 28 seconds. That means we kill one Eximus unit, and now our recovery is down to 10 seconds. We killed 2 Eximus units, boom, he's instantly back. I'll show you that now, actually. Nautilus Prime is down.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, he's back up. Never mind. So as you can see, Momentous Bond is absolutely broken. It's really, really powerful. But this bonus elemental of a damage to, added to your companion is ridiculous. And it's because of Manifold Bond. Companion preset mods apply status effects from your companion's weapons. Killing enemies with 3 or more unique status effects reduces companion ability cooldowns by 3 seconds. That's a lot of words. Let's break it down. Companion preset mod. What the hell is that? That's this. Arc Coil. That's a companion preset mod. So that means that this ability will now apply status effects from our weapon. So whatever status effects that we have on our weapon, and in this case, we're using the Verglas Prime, we're using heat and viral, and they're pretty much even. So they've got a roughly proportionate chance of proccing there. Viral at 60%, heat at 40%. But because we're using heat and viral, that means that Arc is now doing electricity and heat and viral. Now, if you'll notice, that's 3 status effects, right? So what's the next thing say? Then upon killing enemies with 3 or more unique status effects, reduces companion ability cooldowns by 3 seconds. So every time we kill an enemy with 3 or more unique status effects, which is all the enemies, we're reducing the cooldown by 3 seconds. So this is constantly going off, and this is constantly going off. It's kind of insane, seriously. And then I got a bonus thing with Nautilus later. It's awesome as well. So that's what Manifold Bond does in a nutshell. Then the flex slot. So basically we're getting insane amounts of survivability, energy sustain from Synth Deconstruct. We're getting huge amounts of AoE clear from Contagious Bond. We're spreading and stacking just an absurd amount of status effects and heat procs and armor stripping and softening up all the enemies. We're shooting into them. We're getting even more damage and more status effects with Momentous Bond every time we kill an Eximus unit. And he's pretty much up permanently because we kill 2 Eximus units and he's instantly recovered. He's sucking up all the loot for us. He's keeping us practically immortal by recovering our shield every like second or 2 as long as he's getting kills. And we're able to see everything on the map. Disgusting. This is, in my opinion, hands down, the best companion to have for general gameplay. So let's talk about the weapon. The weapon is way more simple, right? We're just building a couple of specific things. Here's the budget version. Now you'll notice it does slightly more damage, but it has about half the status chance, which the status is really what we're kind of after here in this build. And it's got half the fire rate. More multi-shot, it's roughly 70-ish% effectiveness, 60%-ish effectiveness in my opinion, but it's really good for getting your foot in the door, and nothing here is outside of reasonable, obtainability. But if you're trying to get to a big build, here's what I would suggest. And I say big loosely, this is still not that crazy. Rhyme rounds, maybe like 30 plat is the most expensive thing here, but yeah, it's not that bad. So let's talk about the two major things that you need to focus on. The first thing is, don't use a galvanized mod unless you're actually using the same galvanized mod on your real primary weapon. So you can actually stack galvanized, the secondaries thing here. So we'll get the 72% multi-shot, but where it says on kill, we get an extra 27% and it stacks up to 5 times. We won't get those extra unless we're proccing the galvanized chamber on our own Warframe. If we were using this on our actual primary, then that would be amazing. We would swap out Serration immediately, because that direct damage per status type effect, we talked about that just a second ago, they're gonna have like 8 status effects on them. That's crazy. That's a stupid amount of damage. Way more than 165% damage. And we get more status chance on top of that, so we're proccing even more. Like, yeah, Galvanized Aptitude is a direct upgrade from Serration only if you're also using Galvanized Aptitude on your actual rifle that you're using on your frame. So other than that, we just want a bunch of status effect, or status chance, and then we want to keep heat and viral roughly the same amount of damage, because if you didn't know, status chance itself doesn't mean you have a 100% chance to proc every status. We couldn't just have heat, viral, radiation, and magnetic and all that, 100% status chance, and then boom, each time it hits, it's doing all 4. No. This is on hit, it has a 100% chance to apply 1 of the status effects, and then it goes based off of how much the damage is. So if the viral was like 500 damage and the heat was only 50 damage, then the viral would have like a 95% chance of proccing, and the heat would only have like a 5% chance to be the thing that it picked. So we want to keep heat and viral kind of close. So as of right now, I've got viral as a 60% chance and heat as a 40% chance. So that's close enough for me with the 100% status chance. High rate of fire, decent multi-shot, it's pretty good. So this is the build I elected. Last thing I want to talk about is Rifle Elementalist. I think that this is an extremely underrated mod and very, very powerful. I tried this exact same build with and without this mod, and this made a significant difference. So try it, test it, whatever. This is the build that I'm going to continue to use, and it's the one that I would recommend to you. So, all right, so here's one more suggestion. If you don't like DIRIGA and you think he's a stinky little cloud puppy and you don't like the way he looks, or you don't really care that much, you can always use Nautilus Prime as well for some grouping. So maybe you're on, maybe you're doing melee or something. It would just be really, really nice to have the enemies group up into a cluster. Well, perfect. Nautilus Prime has this ability called Cordon. So Nautilus forces enemies within 30 meters, which is a large radius, into clusters for easier targeting. The cooldown is 15 seconds. Keep that into consideration. This is an ability, and the cooldown is 15 seconds. So what does that mean with Manifold Bond? It means that if we kill enemies with 3 or more unique status effects, this reduces the ability's cooldown by 3 seconds. So we only need to kill 5 enemies, and then boom, we can use this again. Now, take into consideration the mod order matters. If I were to do this right here, he would not really use this ever. He would be focusing on this and prioritizing assault mode over. So I put my Cordon in the first slot, then assault next, and then it doesn't matter at that point. So let's go try this out. Let me show you this. So here, we'll kill this one guy real quick. He's gonna spread it to others. As soon as 3 or 4 more people die, boom, he pulls everybody else over, and then whenever they're popping and cascading, instead of hoping that it chains down the right hallway, we're kind of actively pulling stuff into the kill chamber right here, right? Where everything is just constantly popping, popping, popping. And you can get some nasty chains. So let me show you that real quick. All right, so I cut out the boring part. We got to 55-minute survival here just to show you like a real actual case of the build working. So these are level 215 enemies. And yeah, Steelpath, obviously. We're just gonna let Nautilus kind of take it from here a little bit. Now, realistically, I would be killing. All right, Nautilus is dead. so let's just get him back really quick by killing 2 Eximus units, no big deal. He instantly grouped the enemies together, and he's kind of nuking them. He's just doing his damage. So we're gonna let Nautilus work. He's immortal, by the way, for the next 10 seconds after being revived, and he's just doing millions and millions of damage. You just saw there on the screen. All right, so we know DIRIGA's powerful. What about Valkyr, right? We're giving away the skin for Valkyr. It's a cool looking skin, but is Valkyr any good? Oh, we're just doing millions of damage over there. This is gonna make this look really bad in comparison. So thank you, DIRIGA. But still, if you like red numbers, she's pretty good. 50 million right there. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is she looks good and she does good. So if you've never played Valkyr before, this is your public service announcement. Get this frame, and you won't regret it. She's also immortal, but we won't be able to test that because DIRIGA doesn't let anybody touch me anyway. Oh wait, here we go. You get the point. Good news, boys and girls. We did the thing. The thing being, I bought all of Baro's weapons. We were able to successfully get all of the weapons. So if it has a 30 under it, that means I've already bought it, leveled it, mastered it. So we can see here the little green, little wheat leaf things. Says that I mastered it. So I mastered all of his weapons besides 2. The Archwing gun and the Archwing sword. But other than that, we're all good to go. We're at 24 1/3-ish on day 63 or 64 of the account. So not too bad. We still got some pretty low hanging fruit hanging around in the open world areas that we can get up to probably 26, 27. But yeah, this is nice to get off the list. This was a time sensitive one that I kind of had to drop everything else and focus it. So he leaves in a day and we managed to do it. On top of all of his weapons, I got all of the mods that I want from Baro. So for anyone who watched Tennocon live, you got a free Valkyr Prime, and we got some alerts here. So we got an Umbra Forma blueprint, and we got a Catalyst and a Reactor blueprint. And this week, the Archon hunt, we ended up getting a Tau Forged Amber as well. It's pretty good. All right, before you go, don't forget, just comment on the video, anything, you know, a couple random words like got, cake, you know, bakery, something like that. You know, any random word is fine, just as long as you comment on the video itself. You're entered into the giveaway. Just a friendly reminder, don't want you to forget, don't want you to miss out. And then also the Discord, right? I'm not trying to, you know, buy your likes and subscriptions, just trying to help you guys out, give back to the community, generate a little bit of hype, and it's a good heirloom, right? So we want to share. Sharing is caring. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're looking forward to next episode. Episode 10, I have no idea what it's gonna be. I'll be completely honest. Could be Endo, could be Platinum, could be open world stuff. No clue. Could be all of those things. But we'll get you a video soonish. But yeah, have a good night. Be safe. I'll see you soon.